Oh, isn't that lovely? 29 minutes away from 2 o'clock. Now, here's another bit of music that I'm sure you will recognise very easily. Of course, that is the theme of our wonderful festival state reputation that's being really hunkered down at the moment with the wonderful Cabaret Festival. It's in full swing, been going for 2 weeks, 1 week to go. It's the world's biggest cabaret festival, of course, and this year it's been enjoying the work of more than 300 artists from all over the globe, including a heap of premieres. Now, we've got a couple of special guests with us this afternoon. Ebony Bott is the festival's executive producer. She's with me. Hello, Ebony. How are you?
Hello. How are you going? Nice to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And nice to see you looking wide awake, because you've had 2 weeks of very late nights, I would have thought.
It's true. The days are very long, but there's enough, I don't know, it's adrenaline. We all run on it. It's just the best. It's the best. You work for months in the lead up, and then it gets here and you just want to soak it up as much as you can.
The best 3 weeks. And, of course, we also have one of the performers himself, Trevor Jones, classic cabaret performer. You're hosting the nightly piano bar at the Festival Centre. I'm glad to see you're awake too.
It's been
You're
a big
looking very
weekend.
well, actually, given that a late night.
Thank you. No, it's been a big weekend and a big 2 weekends, but it's my favourite time of year to come here for the Cabaret Festival. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So many great performers and so many wonderful audience members. You know, people that come to the piano bar just to hang out and listen to some songs and request things and get rowdy. It's such a beautiful time. So it's a joy to be here. Thanks for having me today.
Here's a little sample of what you hear when you rock up to one of Trevor's and have a wee bourbon or something with Trevor at the bar.
Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded a plane. Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain.
I'm waiting for the chorus here.
Handy, won't you
Takes a bit of
look
time to get
down
there.
over me?
I think I'm going to break in.
I got a first class ticket.
Feel free.
I'm as blue as a boy can be.
Here we go.
When I was walking in Memphis.
Oh, where are my backing vocalists?
Walking with my feet 10 feet off the street.
Fantastic, mate.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's all about cabaret, isn't it? That just captures it, doesn't it?
It really is, and people love that engagement. People love being there and just getting involved and, you know, having a great time, hearing the songs they want to hear. And the other thing I love about being in the piano bar is I get to play rock pop, I get to play music theatre. We had a whole show tune Sunday yesterday that was all musical theatre, playing things ranging from Cole Porter right up to really modern musicals. Jazz, are getting special guests from all over the festival and all over Adelaide as well. It's such a great time.
It's great stuff, isn't it? Ebony, this is your first year as the executive producer.
Yes, it is.
Have you had a nervous breakdown yet?
No, I haven't. But I tell you, every day is a learning, and it's really great to come into it and see just how well supported and loved this festival is. It's absolutely blown me away.
One of the things that is amazing about Adelaide being the festival state, or South Australia being the festival state, is we continue to set records almost every year, and I'm sure we're doing it the same with this festival because it's got a reputation around the world, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, and it's really unique in that it is, you know, well, especially back this year, but all centred in one area. So it's an experience. You're not just coming to see a show. We're asking you to, you know, envelop yourself into the cabaret world. So you will see Trevor in the piano bar. You'll see, you know, you can come to a talk and hear some, you know, history of cabaret from New York across the 70s and 80s, or then you can go into a small intimate performance with 120 people, then, you know, be in the festival theatre with 2,000 people. So you're seeing the full range and you're immersing yourself in something, and I think, you know, it's a vibe and it sounds a lot like cabaret from start to finish.
And you look at the figures this year, look at the breakdown of artists and shows. We've had, quite a substantial handful of premieres.
Yes, and one of the things that Ali realised just before Ali Mcgregor, our artistic director, that we actually, not on purpose, but ended up having quite a few from here. On the weekend, we just had Libby O'Donovan premiere her new work, The Worst Woman in Sydney.
We had Libby in last week talking about it.
You
and
did,
was
yes.
it a scream?
It was fantastic. And then Libby went on to host our backstage club this last weekend gone. And if your listeners can get their hands on a ticket to the backstage club, you never know what you're going to get, especially with Libby O'Donovan. But on Saturday night, we ended up having Becky Cole get up and sing with her, and Becky Cole's mother got up and sung at 75, amazing pipes. And then Tim Minchin rocked up. So we had this, you just never know what you're going to get. And that sort of is what happens at the Cabaret Festival. You've got to be there and don't just come and see a show, but stay for a few hours and chance upon something else.
Yeah, it's the old, cliche, do you want fries with that? You always get fries with something at the cabaret, don't
true.
you?
Yeah.
But healthier than fries. You always get something extra.
Yeah,
it really is.
And this weekend we have Michaela Berger's premiering a new show, which is called
A Migrant Son.
Thanks for jumping in there.
It's all right. I'm mildly obsessed with Michaela. I've memorised everything about her.
Quite amazing. Yeah, so from around the world this week, we just did the world premiere of Joey Arias' new work. He's from a big New York cabaret star. So the number of premieres and Australian premieres, but also we produce, the Cabaret Festival looks out around and
I was going to say, you actually had 3 of your own shows commissioned by the festival.
Correct,
didn't you?
yes. So one of them was Ali Mcgregor's Ema Sumac, which was just exquisite. I'm sure that show will have a long life. You couldn't get a ticket on the weekend. Word spread really quickly, and it was so great to see that audience supported that work. Ema Sumac. In the first weekend, one of the highlights was M. Rusciano, which it was great to see some young, a much younger audience at the Cabaret Festival for that. M. Rusciano's Difficult Woman. That was one of our commissions. And the other one is this weekend, which is Queen Kong, which is Yana Alana, who is a Helpman Award-winning cabaret performer, who has been at many cabaret festivals. I think her first one might have been 2006, and we are now commissioning her new work, which is Queen Kong. So
what will I see in that if I come along to Queen Kong?
Well, she's quite political, actually. Sarah Ward is the artist, and she's had this alter ego cabaret performer called Yana Alana, who's a bit of a narcissist, and now what the world is being introduced to with Queen Kong is Yana Alana's alter ego, which is Queen Kong, who's like a demigod. And so it's like Yana Alana's become enlightened, and she's wanting to share that with the world. So it's going to be a trilogy, and just like Star Wars, she's starting with episode 2. It's episode 2 of Queen Kong and the Homo sapiens. I think there's one song that is...
Homo sapiens. It says it all, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, I think there's a song in there that's titled, I come from a UFO, you come from a DFO. Anyway, I think we're in for a bit of a treat.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Ali Mcgregor, she's the artistic director, as you said. It's her first year solo, isn't it? She's done 2 other festivals, but first year solo.
Yes, and final year, actually.
And final year, her last year, so she's going out with a bang. We had Ali in a couple of weeks ago, and she said she was finding it actually easier being solo, not having to keep on elbowing Eddie Perfect and saying, get out of my way. What's that been like for you to actually... executive produce, the artistic director?
Yes. Well, she's got a very fixed vision for the festival, and I think that any producer worth their salt just tries to facilitate that vision as much as they can within the framework that the festival provides. It was a really quick... I started at the beginning of the year, so we were about... half programmed, or maybe just a bit more than that. So it was really trying to establish how to make the rest of it happen, and her and I go really well together. It's been a joy to work with her.
Deep end territory for you.
Yeah, it has been. It really has been. But I previously was at Art Centre Melbourne, and I think that many art centres across the world function very similarly. So I at least have I could quickly hit the ground and see what had to happen and make it happen. But I do need to say that I think the way Adelaide embraces their festivals is something that is so unique to this great state.
It truly is, and it's been happening for decades, and that's the amazing part, and they just keep on growing and growing. The other thing too is what we've got to keep on reminding ourselves as locals is the amount of international and interstate guests or people that actually come to see these performances, and they don't come just for the performance. They're spending money in the hotels, their accommodation, they're heading out to the wineries, they're touring around. We shouldn't underestimate the power of that, should we?
No, and I met this group of people on the weekend who used to go to Europe. There's 40 of them as a big friendship group. And now they don't go to Europe. They come to the festival.
They come to Adelaide.
That is fantastic.
That is amazing.
I just wanted to like put these people in my handbag and just say, can I just like, you are the spokespeople for this.
And there's 40 of them.
Yeah, and they come every year instead of going to Europe. Like, that's pretty phenomenal.
That is, isn't it? That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's actually how I came to the festival the first time. A group of friends of mine that all get together and come to the Cabaret Festival every year, and I came with them as a punter the year that Bernadette Peters was playing in 2009. You know, it was like, you've got to come to this. And I think at its peak, there's been a group of 25 of us that have travelled over from Melbourne.
So did you just come as not as a performer the first year?
The first time I came was just as a punter, just to see the shows, particularly to see Bernadette Peters. That was when David Campbell was artistic director.
Yes, yeah.
And I was just blown away, and I was determined. I said to my friends, I'm going to play at that Cabaret Festival.
This is for me.
These are my people.
And you've been playing ever since?
Not quite. Not ever since.
No,
this is my fourth year.
Yeah.
So I think 2015, would that be right? 2015 was my first year. And that year I just played in the middle weekend. So it was just as they... that was the year that they decided to try something a bit new with the late night entertainment by having the backstage clubs separate from the piano bar. So it was an interesting divide where some people wanted just to sit and listen and really enjoy the late night variety of performances, which is what the backstage club give them, and some want the rowdy bar experience, which is what I give them in the piano bar. So it's been really great.
So you deliver on that rowdy, disrespectful
at times. Look, at times. Sometimes it's all very sedate and lovely. Yesterday afternoon for Church-In Sunday, I was saying to Ebony, it was because we were on 4:45 till 7. It was almost a late afternoon slot. A lot of people just came and sat and enjoyed as though it was a concert, which was quite lovely, actually. I just got to sing all my favourite show tunes for them.
Fantastic. We're talking about the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. If you've been to any shows, or if you've got some coming up you're excited about, give us a call. We'd love to hear your experience. 8223 0000. 14 minutes away from 2, and we've got Ebony Bott with us, who's the Cabaret Festival executive producer, and we've also got Trevor Jones, who's a classic performer. There you go. You like that description?
A classic performer.
A classic cabaret performer.
Makes me feel a little elderly.
Do you
but
ever
that's
actually sing the classics?
I'll sing anything.
You'll sing anything?
I'll sing anything. If people request it, I'll sing it.
Why does that not surprise me, Trevor? Why does that not surprise me? Ebony, this year has been rather different too, because it's the first year we've had the festival centre open without too much scaffolding around it. There's still a little bit of scaffolding. Has that made a difference? Yeah,
it has. Look, it was something that for us, we are the first festival in the festival centre's suite of festivals to be using that new Northern Promenade, which connects King William Road and connects the Festival Theatre shell right through to the drama shell, we call it, which is Dunstan Playhouse and the Space Theatre. And so coming into the festival with planning, I very much looked at how could we get people engaged and learning that, we now are open for business. So
for those aren't familiar, it's the riverside.
Yes.
We actually walk along the riverside now to get over to the
Which was a huge point of the redevelopment, to turn that around, to face the water.
This is one of my pet hates. I have been complaining ever since I've been in Adelaide for the last 30-odd years. We've always turned our back on the river. The river is our biggest asset. Now we're finally realising that that's the side we should be facing. We should be standing out there on the balcony, looking over the beautiful river, the beautiful lake, up to the Oval and, Montefiore Hill and everywhere else.
And it is so beautiful out there. So we've put the winter garden in our terrace area, which is where the old amphitheatre was, and put some fire pits and put the food trucks around there. We've been a little bit unlucky with the rain, but I just love that people are still out there. We've got heated marquees. There's 2 of them along the walkway, and there is a real winter garden vibe. We've got the Airbenders playing live jazz. We've had them outside, and people have stood around the fire and listened and grabbed some gossamer and grabbed a vegan kebab and listened. And we've got it lit up with a beautiful canopy of lights across that walkway, and it feels really very much... we've been learning a lot from how the audience are using the space. And again... it is winter. We are the festival in the middle of winter, and people are still embracing that, which is really great. I think that precinct, I think it's been so great to see the development being put into that precinct, because over the next, 5 to 10 years, it'll only grow.
Oh, yeah, when the casino
exquisite.
is done and the other tower behind Parliament House and so forth, it is going to be magnificent.
Yeah,
it's been a bit of a blot on the horizon, the plaza there for quite some time, but that's all under review.
Yes,
being done.
And people are finding their way. They're learning the convention centre car park is there. There's the Hindley Street Wilson's car park, and we've got discount offers, and it's been really great to see that people are, recognising that we're open for business and coming back out under one roof.
Yeah, under one roof. That you don't have to, it's not all spread all over the place like last year. Have you noticed a difference or any trends as far as the audience's age is concerned? Quite often, I think, for quite a few years there, we had the Cabaret Festival being a bit... people weren't quite sure what demographic it was designed for. Have you noticed any different trends?
Look, I'm looking forward to the analysis at the end of this, because what my responses to you are really anecdotal of being in the foyers, and different shows attract different people. But I do find it quite amazing to see that shows that I would have pitched for a 30-year-old, we are seeing 55 plus in there and having the time of their lives. I think it's cabaret itself is a genre that is so accessible to everybody. So I feel like it's a bit premature for me to answer that question, but I am looking forward to seeing it. We definitely have the majority of the audience would sit at around 50 plus at this point.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. It will be interesting to see the breakdown. Now, Trevor, your other life. We've got to go down this path. Your other life, your real life, the one that pays the bills, probably. You're a lecturer in musical theatre at the Queensland Conservatorium.
That's right. I have a serious academic career as well, apparently.
What's going on here?
Apparently, I'm not just all jazz hands and fun times. I've been teaching at the Queensland Conservatorium now for a year and a half. I moved to Brisbane a year and a half ago after teaching at the Victorian College of the Arts in their music theatre department for quite some time. Finishing a PhD at the moment, so doing some research in how to coach opera singers to sing musical theatre. But it's always very practical for me.
How to coach opera singers to sing musical theatre?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I've worked with a number of singers and come up with some ideas, and I'm in the process of writing that at the moment. Actually, I've got it all set up in my hotel room, and I'm meant to be writing it at the moment. Send supplies. But yeah, that's my academic career, and I do a lot of advocacy for Australian musical theatre as well, a lot of publishing through The Conversation, which is an amazing website, academic website about news stories, to really try to build momentum around Australian musicals and to build that conversation about how we can develop our own product.
Well, how can we do that then?
Look, that's a very tough question, because there's this real... My theory at the moment is that a lot of it's about adaptation, about building... Like Muriel's Wedding that was on in Sydney earlier in the year is such a great example. It's a collaboration between a local theatre company and a major corporate producer, Global Creatures, as well as an adaptation of a known product. They did a lot of things very smartly by bringing in a name like Kate Miller-Heidke to write the music. So it's about playing it smart and building things like that so that then the public trust Australian product. And, it's been really interesting. South Australian Opera have done, State Opera of South Australia have done some similar things as well with Cloud Street. So there's a lot of really interesting things happening around the country, and I think it's at that point where it's just starting to bubble away and people are going to start really taking notice.
So we need to identify the brand, establish the brand, and then have it accepted.
Exactly. So at the moment, I know James Miller and Peter Rutherford are doing an adaptation of The Dressmaker for Monash University in Melbourne.
Oh, excellent.
And some of it, too, is about celebrating our previous Australian products, shows that got that one season and have been forgotten a little bit. So in some ways, Brand New Day is something that needs to come back. Some of the Nick Enright musicals, that just embracing Australian product and finding producers brave enough to take it on board. Yeah, you press my academic.
Yeah, there it is, finding the producers brave enough to take it on board. But
they're starting
to recognise it.
And finding the audiences brave enough to take a punt.
Well, this is a classic example. There's a great city.
Oh, there's so much going on here. And Adelaide audiences just get behind it, which is awesome.
Yeah. What's the highlight coming up? We've got 1 week left on the Cabaret Festival. Ebony, what's your highlight?
Well, I mentioned Queen Kong, which I think is one to look out for. On Thursday night, we have Patti LuPone, and she is the Grand Dame of Broadway.
I am so excited. I'm beside myself with excitement that I'm going to be in the same building as Patti LuPone. Yeah. She's the queen.
I had a bit of a fangirl moment with her on Saturday when I picked her up. And then on Saturday night we have a very special night. It's winter solstice. It's our closing gala. It's Ali's final hurrah at this festival, and she's put together a very, very special night. It's songs that speak to the soul with winter solstice, and that will lead into our backstage club, which is where we'll announce our new artistic director on Saturday night.
Any
That's
hints?
exciting.
No.
Come on, give us the drop. Give us the drop.
I can't give you the drop.
The other one I'm really excited about is John Cameron Mitchell on
Yes.
Friday night. John Cameron Mitchell wrote Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which is such a cult musical and movie, and is an amazing theatre maker and filmmaker and just artist, and just having him here again, it's kind of like having Patti LuPone. Like this little buzz around the building, just that John Cameron Mitchell's in the same building as us.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol has called in from Semaphore Park. Hi, Carol.
Hi, how you going?
I'm well. Thanks for hanging on.
Oh, that's fine. And what an exciting program still to come. I'm looking forward to going to see Patty, but I'm interested in the last one as well. But what I'm most interested in is the access to the festival. I'm elderly, and so is my friend, and we come up by train. And so can we get into the theatre from the back of the station like we used to, or do we have to walk all the way around?
Yes, so from the train station there are lifts near the convention centre that take you down to the level to access the Dunstan Playhouse end.
Right.
Yes, otherwise you can, depends on what your access, and how far you can walk, or if you're in a wheelchair. But
no, we're not in wheelchairs, but
there is lift access. Yes.
All right then.
Yes.
Oh, that's excellent.
And what I suggest you do is call our box office, and they're really helpful. We can make sure that that you've got the exact instructions that you need.
Oh, look, we're always up there. It's just that this year we've had a bit of a slump, and so we're looking forward to several adventures, starting with the end of the cabaret. But we're coming to see Sumi Joe, and which is not anything to do with the cabaret, but we're looking forward to being in the festival again.
Fantastic, Carol. You have a wonderful night, won't you? And the good news is, you won't have to go all the way around Parliament House. You can get the lifts, and it'll take you out on that level. Hey, listen, guys, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having
Have
us.
a great week for the rest of the week, and we'll tick all the boxes because the sales have been absolutely fantastic. And listen, look, we'll get you to take us out a little bit, Trevor. All right, here's a little bit of. You can sing along. Here we go.
Well, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone.
Where are you getting this material?
Don't ask.
There ain't nothing like the kisses from a teeny Chinese princess. I'm gonna hit some Hong Kong mattress